Thank you for joining us in another video where we're going to show you the basics of Foundry Virtual Tabletop. In this video, we're going to create our first world. The first time you log into the Foundry Virtual Tabletop, you're going to see a screen very similar to this one, though you're not going to have a lot of worlds pre-generated. Those are what we're going to learn how to create today. For the purpose of this tutorial, the only screens that we're going to be looking at right now are the game worlds and the game system screens. The game worlds hold all the worlds that you are going to create, and the game systems will hold all the systems that you install for use on the Foundry Virtual Tabletop. All right, so first things first. At the very bottom of the game system screen, go down and press the Install System button. That will take you to this pop-up. This pop-up gives you a list of all the systems that are available to download on the Foundry Virtual Tabletop. And from here, all you have to do is scroll up and down to find a system that you want to install. The other option is to go up to the Filter Packages input at the top and type in the system that you want to install. If it exists, it will pull it up for you. Click the Install button on the system that you want to install. Once it is successfully installed, you will see a bar at the top telling you as such. Once the system is installed, close that screen and go back to your Game Systems menu. You will now see that the system that you just installed is sitting there on that screen. In this case, D&D 5e is the system that we installed, and it is now sitting at the top. We can now move back over to the Game Worlds menu. So without a system installed, it would be impossible to create a new world because a world needs a system to run off of. Go ahead and click the Create World button now. When you click the Create World button, you're given a new output in which there's a bunch of fields that you have to fill out. The first one we're going to look at is the world title. The world title is just the name of the world that you want it to be, and that could be anything you want. For the sake of this tutorial, we're going to use sample. Next up is the data path. The data path is going to be where you find the folder that Foundry creates, and it's going to hold everything that you add into this world, whether it's images, sounds, any other files that you want. Next up is the game system. So like we just did in the previous section, we installed a new system. So this is where we selected. We're going to select D&D 5e. The background image pertains to the image that sits behind all the outputs that are open right now. So the D20 that you can see in the background, we can change that to whatever we want to suit our game's needs. Next up is the next session. Next sessions are there to let your players know, and yourself if you need a reminder, when the next gaming session is going to be. And finally on this screen is the world description. This is where you can make any notes you want about the world you're running, whether it has homebrew rules, any specific characters that you want, pretty much whichever you want. So at the bottom, click the Create World button now. Once you click on the Create World button, it takes you back to the Game World screen. Now you can see the world that we just created, in our case sample, on the menu. On each Game Worlds entry, you are going to see three boxes: a Delete World, an Edit World, and a Launch World. Delete World will give you the option to delete that current selected world. In Edit World, it's going to open a pop-up very similar to the Create World applet before. The only difference is some of the fields now you cannot edit. What you can edit are the world title, the next sessions, the background image, and the descriptions. So I went ahead and changed the world name to Hello World, as well as the description. Once you've made any changes you wanted to, just click Update at the bottom to be taken back to the world screen. And then from there, we're going to launch our new world. Every time you load up the Foundry Virtual Tabletop and select a world, you're going to be taken to your world screen. This is going to let you select which user you are, whether you're the game master or player, put in any passwords that you have assigned. It'll tell you the game details that we set in the previous screen, so what time the game's running at, and allows you to return to the setup of the game itself with the user password. And since this is the first time starting the world, just select Game Master and click Join Game Session. And with that, you have your brand new world ready to create to tell the stories that you want to tell. As you can see, this screen is pretty bare, but we're going to go through and fill it up with some content in some future episodes. Stay tuned for our next video where we're going to go through the UI of the Foundry itself.